Hi everyone, welcome back to the Snowflake tutorial. So in this video, we will be creating some sample database, sample schema, some tables, and using different read-only and read-write rules, how can we control the access and how can we execute the queries that we will be doing practically. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so you can see that we have few roles, and right now in this UI, you can see that I'm logged in as a account admin role. You can change it from here in case you want to use some other role like sysadmin. You can do that, right? Like this, you can do this. Okay, and since we have already created one warehouse, you can see that also, right? Let's do one thing. Suppose you want to test something, but you don't want to test that as a super user because you created some read only and read write roles, right? So let's do one thing. I would say use role, and we created one sample read write role, correct? And this role we will be creating. Okay, so as soon as you will execute this query in this user interface, you can see that sample read write role is automatically selected. Now that means whatever operation you will do now, for that operation the permissions related to sample read write role will be in effect. Okay, so if you click on this one, you can see that there is no warehouse available. You know why? Because for this particular role, sample read write role, there is no warehouse available. Because if you remember, we created one role, this one sample warehouse full or usage, right? And these permissions are with these roles, not with this. So either from here you can use this role, or let's do one more thing. I will show you how to create parent child relationship. So grant role, I am giving full permission. This role I am granting to this role. Okay, in this case, this sample warehouse full is the child role and sample read write is the parent role. In this case, what will happen is, because this role has full permission on the warehouse, ultimately even sample read write will get full permission on the warehouse, and that's the purpose. Okay, so I will execute this. Okay, and before I execute, I will select my account admin, or maybe, yeah, account admin, because whenever you are doing anything related to role creation or creating a parent child hierarchy and all that, you should always use a high privilege uh, how pri high privilege role. So account admin I can use. So what I'm doing is I will be executing this command now, and you can see that executed, right? Now again I will be using this role sample read write, and you can see now sample warehouse is displayed here. Earlier it was not coming. Why? Because our sample read write role was not having access to the warehouse. And now we have provided the permission not directly but through some child role. Because child role is having full permission on the warehouse. So ultimately this parent role will also get the full permission on the role. So you can select this, and ultimately now you should be able to execute the queries. Okay. So let's do one thing. Now suppose, first of all, do we have some data available? Let me click on database. You can see that there are two databases already available, Snowflake and Snowflake sample data. Okay, and there are some tables as well. These are basically schema, not tables. So under database there's a concept of schema, and under schema you can find different tables like this. You can see here. So let's try that. If we can do select star from database name, that is Snowflake sample data, and then schema name TPCH SF1. So this sample database schema and tables are automatically coming whenever you are creating a trial account for your trading purpose, right? And finally, table name, suppose we'll try with customer. Okay, customer, and we can provide some limit 10, and let's try. Okay, you can see that. So it's displaying some data. So because this is a database provided by your Snowflake, that's why this role sample read-write is having access to this one. But now the point is, can we create a new database? Can we create a new schema? Can we create a new table? Yes, we can do all that stuff depending upon the permission provided. Okay, so we can do one thing. Table database creation maybe we will do through account admin, because definitely we cannot give this permission to every team member that they will keep on creating many databases. Yes, so I will change the role from here. I will go back to account admin and I will create one role. Okay, sorry, one database. So I will do create database, anything, maybe sample underscore db. Okay, and let's execute this. What is that? Spelling mistake. Database. Okay, so you can see that database has been created successfully. Let's refresh the page so that we can see our newly created database. At the same time, what I will do is I can create some schema if you want, and I can assign the permission to create the tables to the read write role. So that remaining things, table creation, view creation, that can be done through the read write role, that will be ultimately granted to the developers. Definitely account admin will not be performing table and view creation, but yes, high level stuff like database creation, schema creation, it can perform. Okay. So sample DB is created. You can see on the left side, information schema and public. These two schemas are automatically available. But apart from that, if you want to create more schemas, let's try that. So I will do create schema DB name, and then maybe I will give sample underscore sample schema. Okay. And there is an option like with managed access. The meaning of with managed access means at the time of schema creation, you can define like who will be having the read permission to this schema and along with the tables and views, and who will be having the write permission. That's a good practice, right? Otherwise, what happens is if any other team, suppose some external team or your consumer, they want to read the data from your schema, from your table, they won't be able to read in case you are not going with managed access. So now we are managing the access, and let me just execute this. So the schema is created. Okay. And now I will give some permissions, extra permissions, something. Okay. So grant uses on database, which data? Database sample underscore db to role sample read write. Okay, so the access starts from db level. That means first of all you need the usage permission on database. After that you need the usage permission on schema, and finally you will come to table or view level in case you are having access to tables and views. But at the same time, if you don't have usage permission on schema and database, that means you won't be able to access that table or view. That's why we are starting from database. So I will execute this, and similarly we will give usage permission for schema. So I will say schema, and along with the db name we'll give schema name also, like this. Okay, so you can notice one thing. I have given permission, usage permission on database, usage permission on schema. Apart from that I have not given any permission. That means first of all this role sample read write does not have permission to create the table. Let's try that. So let's do this. Use role sample read write. Okay. Now you can see here why I'm changing role again and again. I try to understand whenever I'm doing developer type of thing, like creating a table, creating a view, I'm using my sample read write. Whenever I'm doing a admin level of stuff, like creating the role, creating a role hierarchy, creating the database, then I'm using my account admin rule. So now I would like to check whether I'm able to create the table or not. Okay, so I would say create table. You can provide the database and schema and table name together. So create table this dot sample table, and you can provide some column, maybe name varchar 20 and semicolon, and let's execute this. Most probably this will fail, it will not be executed. Yes, correct, you can see that insufficient privilege to operate on schema sample schema. That means although we provided some permission, you see this grant usage on schema, but grant usage will not allow you to create the table. For that one we would like to provide more permissions. So let me show you that. I will copy this and I will change the permissions. I would say grant all, not only uses. Grant all on schema. That means under this schema this particular role can do anything, creating table, creating view, anything it can do. So I will execute this, but I will execute as a account admin. Account admin, right? I will execute this. Okay, and now let's try to create the table again. So I will use this role, sample read write role, and then we'll try to create the table, and you can see that sample table has been successfully created. So you understand that how slowly and gradually I'm adding the permission. If I'm just adding the permission, uses permission, it won't allow you to create the table. But if I provide more permission, and in case you would like to provide a table level permission like insert, update, delete, you can even do that. Maybe for one role, maybe for read only role, you just want to provide a permission like simply select. I will show you that also. So I will go back to account admin role. Okay, and I will grant some, let me copy these two first, because before you do anything, whether it's a read only or read write, first of all you should have the usage permission. Okay, on database and schema. So what I'm doing is I'm providing usage on database and usage on schema to my read only role. That's what I'm doing now. Okay, and now I will do few more things. I would say grant select on all tables in schema. Copy this and to roll this, right? So I will copy this entire and I will execute this. Okay, you can see that. So you know what I did is I have given full permission to read write role, because that can even create the table. But to read only role, I don't want to give the permission to create the table, but yes, I just want that they can simply do the select, nothing else. Okay, so let's try that. Instead of read write, I will use read only role this time. Let's see what we can do and what we cannot. So I will say read only. Okay, I will execute this so that I can test my things using read only role. What happened? Not assigned to the execution user. Okay, I know what happens is, so read only role is not guaranteed to this. There is no, I told you, right? If child is related to parent, then only you can use that role. So I will do small thing, just hold on. Grant role read only to role read write. Okay, so I will execute this, correct, and now let's try this. Perfect. And you can see here Sample read-only role is selected. Shall we try to do something like insert statement, or uh, let's try the insert statement. Okay, we create one table, right? I will copy this name. Okay, so insert into this values. Since there is a one column name, I will put my name, and let's try this. Hopefully this command will not work. I will tell you why. You can see this. Insufficient privilege to operate on table sample table, because we haven't provided the permission to read only role to insert the data. We haven't provided. We have only provided select permission. But if I use read write role, then you can do the insert. Let's try that. So I will execute this read write, and then I will execute this. Correct. Okay. So now if I will do select star from my sample table, okay, and using which role? Using both can do. Let's try with read write first, because read write has full permission, so you can do select star. It's working fine. But if you want to use read only role, you can still read, because you just have the read permission. So I will select this and execute, and you can see now. At the same time, suppose I am trying again one more time. Using the read only role, I am trying to insert data into the table once again. Again, it will fail. You can see that. Insufficient privilege to operate on table sample table. Okay. I hope you must have got some basic idea about the Snowflake access control. Okay. So in this video, we talked about how to create a database, how to create a schema using the high privilege role like account admin or sysadmin. And then using the smaller role like read only or read write, you can perform different table and view level operation. Like to read write role, you have given the permission to create the table, and you can even insert the data. You can even delete the data. You can even update the existing data. On the other hand, the read only role, it cannot perform all these things like creating or inserting, deleting, updating. The only thing possible with read only role is just selecting from the table. Okay, so this way Snowflake provides even better fine grained control. What type of access you want, you can grant to those rules, and the people, the different users, different team members in your team, they can use the corresponding role, suppose read only role or read write role, and they can perform their day-to-day activities. Okay, so that's all from my side. I hope you enjoyed the video on Snowflake. We tried all these things practically on a trial Snowflake account. And in case you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, because every week I keep on uploading the videos on different cloud-based technology. So thank you.